to see these two Akiya properties again, and this time taking the midnight night bus which leaves Kyoto in the midnight and arriving in Toyama prefecture in a city called Nanto City in the next morning. Empty train station at 4:50 in the morning. Got myself some coffee from 7-Eleven. Still only 5:30. Freezing inside the station. Nobody's here. Thought I just might show you what jobs are around here in Toyama. Or to be more specific, part-time jobs. All these jobs here, about 200k yen. What about here? Driver, truck driver, from 200k to 300k. What is this? Bento shop staff. Hourly wage 1,000 yen. Here inside the sushi shop, also about 1,100 yen. So apparently you cannot use the IC cards for these local stations, local rural stations. Only cash ticket. I've got so much time on my hand, I'm just gonna show you the signs here. So even for such a small city station, it has highway bus directly to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Nagoya, Kanazawa. Impressive. It has a car, no car. It has a bus directly to Toyama Airport as well. And also here there are local bus that takes you to the famous Gokayama or Shirakawa-go village with the traditional thatched roof houses. And nothing is open until 7, and it's still empty. Even for such a small city like this, they're trying to promote tourism. This special train that goes from Johana to Himi, the ocean side. The special train, where you can get all these special cuisine for 3,000 yen, 2,100 yen, and this includes the ride, but it's only available Saturday, Sundays, so not today. The first train of the day has arrived. First one here listed for 800k yen. That's only about 5,000, 6,000 USD, I believe. This is in Nanto City, an area called Fukumitsu. It's actually quite small, but the historical district that I first visited this time, and from the photos, it doesn't look too bad. The agent said somebody lived here until 2-3 years ago, and again, it's just another elderly oba-chan who has to be sent to like a facility because of maybe health problem or age. And this is only about 69 square meters for the land, and a little bit over that for the 2 floors in this house. So quite small, but I think it's compacted. And you can see on the Google map, you have a lot of restaurants around the property. You have a station here, Fukumitsu, that's only about less than 10 minutes. You have the Nanto City city office here, that's across the bridge. It is by this river here as well. So really this is a very convenient location. And if you see Google Earth here, it is a bit on the southern side of Toyama prefecture, and actually you can drive to Kanazawa City in just 30 minutes, I think. So this is the back of this Machiya house. One thing that I really liked when I saw the photos is the outer wall. The wood looks very nice. It's not falling apart, and as well as the neighboring houses, they all look pretty good in terms of a traditional streetscape, and very common in Hokuriku region that it's often just raining or snowing the whole day during winter. And we are now in front of this Machiya townhouse, and of course it is connecting to its neighbor right over there. There are 3-4 of them all connected. This is the entrance area, and as you see, everything is still left inside the house. これ動画撮ってるんです。ちょっと今の、はい、ちっちゃいんですけど。So with the price, I guess you can't really complain much, and I had okay impression when I saw the place, but really there are a lot of areas where I'm concerned about. The most important one is there is a corner where it's slanting, and you can feel it, especially on the second floor, that it's tilting towards one side, which could be caused by termites. We don't know, just because you will really have to demolish parts of the house to examine. The other thing is just about how a lot of the pillars, they were kind of cut off and replaced with new ones during a renovation maybe 10-20 years ago when the owner wanted to live here. I feel like they might have cut off some important pillars, which might be bad for the structure of the house. Also because it was renovated or repaired by the previous owner, a lot of the areas you cannot see the original wall, original ceiling, original floor. A lot of it is hidden by more modern materials. For me, if I'm going to buy a traditional house, I really want to see behind, for example, this wall here, to see how the original wall looks like. That said, with the convenient location, and of course the cheap price, I guess it's just a matter of how much risk you can take to invest in fixing something like this. main street for Fukumitsu. On a weekday like this, it doesn't feel entirely dead. You have the music, you have some people walking around. It's in Hokuriku, so most people are driving cars. The second property I visited is also in Nanto City, but it's further south in an area called Johana. It used to be a temple town, so I think a lot of temple, and also it has its own historical streets. And this is listed for 1.5 million yen. A bit more expensive, but a lot bigger in terms of land size, 181 square meters. And this property actually has two buildings, one here and one by the side. And actually, to many people's surprise, this is a property on the Akiya Bank. And as I mentioned before, a lot of the Akiya Bank, they don't deal with foreigners or people who don't live in Japan or who cannot relocate to the properties right after they purchase the property. But in some cases where they have the realtor's information directly, you can just contact them, and sometimes they can just, they don't care if you go through the city or not. So this time I contacted this realtor, and they were able to show me the property. In terms of the location, it's quite small here, so I have it here. It is at the end of the train line, Johana Station, all the way from Takaoka. And the previous property is over here, so Johana is down here a bit further south. This is also right by a river, by the way, and you see there are also some shops, restaurants at this historical street. Over here there are some historical sites for tourism. There are festivals going on around here, so this town has its own history and culture for sure. But compared to the previous place, I think this place is a bit more modern, as in they kind of just expanded the road a bit too much, and it loses a lot of the feeling of an old town. The second property here on the right side and left side, they are sold together, again for 1.5 million yen. Really my impression for this one is that it's a lot newer. Actually the one that I'm in now, the ceiling, the going through each room, you can feel it was a lot higher, maybe over 180 centimeters. The condition of the house is actually better in general, again, but except the areas, for example, like the washroom, toilets, those really all need to be upgraded for most of these old houses. And going up to the second floor, again, I think all these rooms are really fine as it is. I don't think there are any leaking from the roof, but the wall definitely has some damage. I don't know if it was one from before or not, but the ceiling looked fine. And this is the garage. This is the actual old building that is built before 1950, the actual Machiya. But only a small part of the Machiya was left, but everything else was really just built later on. And you can see this is right by a river. This is the back of the property. It's quite messy, but when it's cleaned up, you will have a good view of the river. But again, when you're very close to the river, there is always risk of flooding.